Hello, everyone. Good morning. Um, Hello, everyone. I'm just typing in the topic for today. Children's speech. Hello, everyone. Asked questions. Hello, everyone. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. I have a live now with a speech therapist. I hope she joins me soon. Good morning, Ma. Are you back? Are you back? Thank you so much for joining. So on my page I've been talking about yelling and why children yell and listening, and all that. So I found out that a lot of people were saying that their children, are concerned about whether their children are even listening or even hearing or even able to. My guest has joined me, so I'll just bring her in. I have lots of questions for her. Let me send her a request. Um, um, I don't know how to. You have no request. Let me send her a request. Hi, child speech therapy. Do you know how to send me a request? Can you send me a request? Then I will add you. Okay, I can add you from here. Let me see. At speech. Yes. So I've invited you. If you click on the button, then you can join me. I've invited you. Yes.
Oh, wait, sorry, let me
I
just...
know. I know you're not so, conversant with
Hi.
Kyle. Hi. Good morning. Thank you for joining me. I know it's evening on your side. I mean, and it's night on your side.
Yeah, absolutely. It's 8 p.m. here, so
Uh,
yeah, it's great. Well, it's just been a whirlwind day. So yeah, I work and have two kids, and it's just been full on. But it's Friday, so looking forward to the weekend and happy to
weekend.
be here. I
Yeah.
love your information that you provide to families. It's really
Thank
helpful.
Thank you so much. I mean, so I was just saying that I have lots of questions here. I mean, in a short time, lots of questions have come in. So we're just going to go straight into. We're not going to waste any time. But please,
Yeah,
can you
go for it.
just introduce yourself so they know that we're talking to an expert?
Yeah, absolutely. Just someone who's studied a lot.
Mm,
um, so yeah, my name's Jules. I'm a speech pathologist in Sydney, and I also worked in London for a few years there at the Portland Hospital and with the NHS.
oh,
My special focus is on neurodiverse children and families and autistic children,
mm,
and I really focus on early intervention as well. So that's receiving a lot of information and a lot of support in 0 to 6 years of age. And I believe the parent is the best therapist for their child and empowering them to feel confident and less stress. Yes, I know it's easier said than done,
mm.
for them to support their child. So, yeah, that's just a bit about me. And I've got 2 masters in speech pathology, and I'm always learning. So, yeah.
Oh, good to have you, and thank you so much for. I just reached out to you because like questions kept coming in, and I just searched on you,
Absolutely.
and your page
Yeah,
just.
happy to answer them. No worries. I'm happy to be here.
So please, if you have any further questions, you can just drop it in the question box and I'll ask her. Well, the first question I have is, what do you think about? I mean, this is just a general question. I just want to have your opinion on what you think the concept about how parents take milestones. What do you think about milestones, and how do you think that we can manage the stress it gives to parents?
I think when we look at milestones in terms of speech and language development, all children around the world typically develop at a certain age. develop certain skills by certain milestones. Now, a milestone is not the average, it's where 90% of children are achieving this skill. So it's a great way for parents to reflect back and go, oh, what could my child typically be expected to be doing at 12 months of age or 18 months of age? So it's an indicator. I don't use things like getting stressed and red flags or parents to look out for things. I say be aware. And we know that if we do see that a child maybe isn't reaching those milestones, that's a great time to reach out. I know you have the NHS there, and you do have private speech therapy there as well.
Yes,
and
we
it's a
do.
great time to, to reach out and get some support. I think having the right information just relieves a lot of stress. And even if your child does need support, it relieves a lot of stress knowing that you can do some really simple things at home.
Yeah, because I see that, this someone else's child did this at this age, it tends to put a lot, so I tell people that milestones are just, something we use to just gauge, where we're, and I mean, if it's a concern, then seek help. If you feel it's a concern, then seek help. The first question is, when do I begin to get concerned about my child's speech? At what age is it typical for it to start speaking?
Sure. So within those milestone expectations of when typical development starts place, we know those first words come between 12 to 18 months. Sometimes it's earlier, but typically we look from 12 to 18 months. Boys will naturally sometimes have a bit of a lag with their expressive or their talking side. So, we look at around those things, but we're also looking for other things other than just words. So we're looking for lots of eye contact, typically looking at faces, waving by 12 months or before 12 months, smiling back at parents and recognizing that's mum or that's dad. Even if they're not saying it, you know that they can recognize. What else? And some imitating sounds. So if they hear a dog barking, they may go, I'll try and imitate that back. Or they might be saying things like ba for bottle or ma for milk. And I say to parents, don't get concerned, get informed. And there's I've got a free checklist on my website if you are interested. I don't know how to post stuff on Instagram. I'm so sorry. But it just gives you a bit of an insight. I have a 14-month-old boy who isn't using his first words just yet.
Okay.
And thankfully, being a speech pathologist, I know that I can see other areas of development that he is doing. We are doing small games and play, and I can also see that he has blocked ears. So that's another thing. It's very common for young children to get their hearing tested and check the GP to see if there's fluid in their ears.
Yes, because I mean, the next question was like, I've checked his ears. He doesn't seem to have any problem with his ears, but I still can't get him to recognize his name.
Okay. Yes. Yep. It depends how old he is. And if a child's not recognizing his name, but he can hear, that can be an indicator of a speech and language delay. It doesn't necessarily mean that it is, but it is something to be aware of. And that may be an indicator to have a chat to community health nurse or book in with a private speech pathologist and have a bit of a language assessment there and see how they're developing. We know 12 to 18% of children will present with speech and language delay or difficulty, and that it's not anyone's fault and it's not because you have or haven't done something. And that is just one of the indicators if a child's not responding to their name. Yeah.
Okay. So someone is asking, what's the difference between stuttering and speech delay?
Yep. Okay. Good question. So stuttering, also known as stammering, I believe over there in the UK, is something that is quite typical for children to go through. It's a repetition. So stuttering will be like, I want, I see a car, things like that. And children can naturally grow out of a stutter. or
Mm,
age out of a stutter by about 3.5 years of age.
yeah.
If not, they will usually get some speech therapy. And a language delay is something that some boys and girls have, most likely more common in boys, and that's from birth and will look like reduced understanding and reduced talking or communication skills, and doesn't necessarily relate to stuttering. You can have a stutter as well as the language delay, but the language delay is something that we see that, we can see from any age, but typically, we start kind of seeing that from about 2.5, 3 years of age.
Okay.
Yeah.
But is there any particular reason why it's common in boys? Because I mean, all the questions I have are from boy moms. I can see it.
Yes.
I mean, our
Yes.
statistics, or you tell us why it's common with boys.
There. So we know for a lot of things that happen with our bodies and with our development, there
Mm,
is a genetic link, and that has been linked with speech and language delay. It's been linked with stuttering. It's been linked with autism. So we know that autistic children can have a higher rate of other autistic family members.
mm.
So with, I don't know, like with genetics, this was how it was explained to me.
Okay.
Um, for us women, we have two X's, and therefore, if there's a genetic variability on one of our X's, we've got a backup, we've
Yeah.
got a spare. That same with other things that men seem to have a bit more of. They have an X and a Y.
Mm,
So there's just way more variability. If
mm.
one of the genes is different or changes, they look very different genetically than we do with our very basic two X's.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
yeah.
Um, and I mean, I sent you this other question about the lady that says he's able to sing, repeat words after them. He understands simple things, go upstairs, come downstairs. But the part that worries me that he's unable to communicate his needs.
Okay.
He
Yes, I remember that question.
yes, he would rather take me to the water. He can't say I want water. He
Yes.
take me there.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. So that's quite common as well. We see a lot of hand leading or pointing or just verbalizing, standing in front of the cupboard, and just kind of crying a little bit for mum or dad to kind of play the guessing game. What I would encourage, and a lot of families do and have really good results, is to have some photos. So have some photos of their favorite food.
visuals, not audios,
Visuals.
visuals. Yes.
Yep, absolutely. And start using them, and also write their name on. So if it's chips, write chips, or crisps, as you guys
Mm,
call it,
mm,
or cheese or whatnot. Have those available at eye level for your child, and start using them to encourage pointing or picking up of those pictures. You can also use keyword sign.
mm.
I can't remember what we were using. I think it's the same, but you could model I, which you just touch your
Yeah.
chest, and then a flat hand forward. Want. I want some food. So
Mm,
you can start using that as a model for your child, but definitely pictures and using some of your hands for keyword sign.
okay. Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much. So,
Yeah, you're welcome.
the speech delay, does it go with ADHD all the time, or is something completely different?
So there is a correlation with like neurodiversity and speech and language delay.
Mm,
Um, so there can be that association. It's called comorbid, or it just co-occurs. Um, but in saying that, if one child presents with a speech and language delay, does not mean they're going to have an ADHD diagnosis, and vice versa. If you have ADHD, does not mean that you have a speech and language delay, but they do sometimes travel together.
okay. Someone was asking, um, how does screen time? She said screen time playing a role in him not being able to speak, or what should I
Yeah.
do? The person is not clear.
It's such a tricky one because for
How do
some children,
mm,
yeah, they do learn through screens and through objects and through watching and imitating. And I remember one of the children you said has echolalia or copies words and phrases that they hear on one of the iPads. I think
yeah,
that
yeah,
was from your group, the
yeah.
question. Look, screen time generally does have play a role and have an effect on speech and language delay or some difficulties. So the World Health Organization recommends no screen time for a child under 2. The only exception being things like this, like a voice call with family or friends, some educational videos, someone else being present while the TV is on, like to make comments or to be involved or engage. In saying that, my focus for parents is yes, you need to have, balance, but you also need a happy mum. So
Mm,
if screen time is needed, then screen time is needed. And every family looks different, and that's okay.
mm,
Um, we use screens for 3 things:
okay.
for an education, a reward, or a distraction.
Mm,
So just kind of thinking about how you're breaking that up and how that's how your child's responding to that.
yeah.
But I would have a chat to your speech pathologist about that specifically within your family.
Mm.
They may be able to provide some suggestions about just introducing some other activities.
Mm. Okay. Thank you everyone for being here. Please, if you have any question, just use the question sticker and please go follow her. For some reason, I'm always on her page because there's something new I'm learning on her page. So, there was this
Yeah.
theory I saw on your page, the old of all owl. So I don't know if you could just,
Oh, Al.
yeah, I don't know if you
Yes.
could talk about it a bit before I go to the next question.
Yeah, absolutely. So OWL comes from Hannon, which is a speech pathology research centre in Canada, and OWL stands for Observe, Wait and Listen, and it's one of the first things that we encourage parents to do for children who are quite young
Mm.
or even older, and it's basically get out of the way. It's just observe your child. So pop toys on the ground, move back, wait. So wait to see if they talk or point or come and get you, and listen to anything they're saying. And listening not just with their words, but they might be just listen to their body language, where their eyes are looking, how they're playing, gives them a chance to engage, and it gives you a chance to respond when you're ready,
Mm.
rather than the adult trying to lead all the time and ask lots of questions. And
Yes, I know that.
yeah,
Yeah, and I see that that's what we do a lot. We just keep talking and talking and talking, and we don't
yes,
wait to get a feedback from them to know how to respond.
yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
yes, so she says, my son has been diagnosed that she has been seen, but she's saying, what can I do at home to help improve his speech?
Yep. So his speech, so by speech, you mean like talking communication style?
Yes, yes.
Yep. To get that out. That's a really good question. Some of the strategies, and they're all research based, so we know that they're working, is to do a routine. Now, when we suggest these things, we let families know that not every single child will develop oral verbal speech.
Mm.
Okay, we can see indicators if a child is heading that way, absolutely, and we can't tell at first glance which children will and which children won't. So that's a bit of a caveat. In
Mm.
saying that, having routines in your day is super important, because when you have a routine, you tend to repeat things and things tend to be expected. So I'd say encourage songs, because sometimes it is easier for children to sing or learn the alphabet. I say have a reading time in your morning. So have a little song like they do at preschool. Everybody come sit down, come sit down.
Mm.
Put a blanket down and look at some pictures together.
Yeah.
Pause. So if you open that book and you're like, it's Brown Bear, pause, wait, point, see if the child will say some sounds or try pointing. Always encourage. Be like, yeah, that's great. No matter what they say or try to do, making it positive. Not, no, say bear. So
Mm.
just avoiding criticism or any kind of negativity. Reduce questions. It's so counterproductive, where parents will be like, sorry, I've got like all my washing and clothes here, but like holding up a cup, what's this? What color is it? It actually reduces children's talking. So we do encourage you to comment. So you'd be like, mummy's juice, mummy's milk. And you just do lots of comments on things that they're interested in. So if you know that your child loves Lego, make sure that Lego is available and just comment. Block on, block up. So using just some shorter phrases. Gosh, there's so many. Hanen is a great resource, HANEN, for those early language strategies to encourage expressive language. And just also that 20 minutes of playtime. Get on the floor, get outside, wherever your child is interested, in the bath, wherever the water play. And don't comment, don't ask questions, don't tell them what to do, just be there. And you can just model some basic words and play and relax. I know it's hard, but when parents are anxious and asking lots of questions, it's not a great environment. It's not the learning environment. It's not the best for children to relax and try some expressive words or some talking. There's some of the things very generally that we recommend.
Okay. So this is the last one. I mean, I just wanted us to take short time so that you can go. She says, "How do I keep my child's attention?"
Yeah, with something they like. Okay, it'd be like you bringing some statistics to me. You wouldn't be able to keep my attention for more than 2 minutes. So follow their lead. There's play schemas, which are just different types of play, and every adult has different preferences. So if your child loves the water or loves the sand or loves the rough and tumble, go out and buy a sand, go and get some sand, some magic sand, or get a little water basin and start having that available to them and play in a way that's fun to them. So if your child likes to bang things, you can imitate that and do that activity with them. It may not look like an activity to you, but it's going to hold their attention and their gaze and their interest. Sensory. So things like squishy toys, sand, Play-Doh, slime, water, movement, anything like that is going to be more interesting for a child. Remember, they might just need a break. So if they do wander away or run away and do something, just keep going. Don't pack up the activity. They may actually return and come back. They may just need a little break.
Yeah. Thank you so much for this.
You're so welcome.
Something
it's lovely to
just skip my mind now.
You're right. No, feel free to ask any questions.
Is there a particular way to, to communicate with a child that has? Is there a particular way? Or I'm sure that, guys, if you need to go follow her, so so all these things will be on her page. So I don't know if you can just talk about that quickly. If there's a particular way to, not screaming when they're somewhere else and asking them to come do something. Is there a way you can communicate with them to get them to follow through?
Is that to transition from one activity to another? Yeah? When it's time to finish the play in the sand pit and now it's snack time?
Yeah.
Absolutely. The best way to do that, sorry, my phone's really shaky, is to give a warm-up, okay? So to just be like, if you were at work and someone said, get up, we have a meeting, you'd be a bit flustered and a bit like, oh my gosh, I hadn't finished doing what I was doing. So we give them a heads up. So we go 5 more minutes. Okay, sand play, 5 more minutes. And then it's snack time. Even have a photo. Like I have a lanyard on me some days when I go to preschools. Hold up a picture of snack time or their snack or a table where they sit and eat and let them know. You can also use a timer. So you can use a timer on your iPad or your phone or just an egg cup timer. Yeah. Say, okay, we've got 5 minutes left and then we're going inside and make it part of the routine. So if each day
Oopsie.
If it's part of the routine, the child's going to understand more and respond better than if you're just randomly changing up their timetable and doing things last minute. They're going to feel a bit they're going to probably feel very overwhelmed. Transitioning is naturally harder, particularly for autistic children or ADHD. And just try some of those strategies. It does help.
Yeah. Okay, so June, there's something I've seen a child do this a lot. What does that mean?
Yes. So covering their ears, like with their whole hands or putting their fingers in their ears, can be a sign of a sensory overwhelm. So what happens with children who are diagnosed autistic, typically their brain develops differently. And there is some research to say that they have more receptors, in their brain, so they feel things more. A great book on that is The Boy Who Felt Too Much. Amazing book written by a neuroscientist. But basically covering their ears is the same as if you're at the airport outside and a jet flew over you. You would just cover your ears. It would just be so overwhelming, overstimulating, painful. A lot of children that I see at preschools cover their ears when someone puts on the hand dryer. I turn them off. I don't think the hand dryers are necessary. It's so painful for children. So that's why they're covering their ears. And it's overwhelmed. So it is great to get some ear defenders, some headphones, noise cancelling for children, so that they have access to that if they're feeling overwhelmed or in pain from sound.
Okay, so what if some another child is doing something and they are copying, like another child is crying and it gets them stimulated and they start crying. I don't understand that. Is it the same? Is it the same thing?
That's a good one. I mean, it's empathy, isn't it? So, we feel what others are going through when we see it, and a lot of children do have that, and they see it on television, or if a character is crying or upset, or even really sad music, they'll start crying or get upset. So it is that those mirror neurons, that empathy that we see, and it's great to label that with an emotion, like, oh, you're sad, he's crying, it's very sad, let's give a hug, it's okay. Moving them away so that they're not feeling overstimulated or overwhelmed, and getting supported, even though, they weren't the one that maybe got hit, they're obviously fell over, then they're obviously still feeling that empathy. Yeah.
Then the last one before you go. A child, he always likes, I don't know, music, like, what do they call this? Tambourine.
Shaking.
Yes, it's so shaky.
Oh, yes. Shakers or tambourines. So this is all just from what I've read. I'm not autistic. I'm not an expert on autism. I just know a lot about it, and if that child is diagnosed. So those shaking can be sensory seeking. Okay, so things that are enjoyable. It goes both ways. Something can be overwhelming and painful, and something can be really enjoyable and entertaining. So it could be that clicking noise or dropping something on the hardwood floor. I mean, it's stimulating and fun and interesting. It might be just the right pitch, so that's play, and that's enjoyable. A great way to engage with that child would be to come up and do that next to them, and maybe use some words like shake, 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 take some turns.
Good. Thank you so much. I've learned a lot.
You're so welcome. No worries. And I always want to know, how do I pronounce your name? Because I know how it's written.
No, just say AY. It's fine.
AY.
Yes, that's fine.
AY.
Yes.
Okay. No worries. Thanks for that. Well, it's lovely.
Someone says, I do have a question. What can you do when a child enters this time where they reject everything and always say no? Okay.
Okay, are they a toddler? Potentially.
Yeah.
So that's toddler development, where they'll say no to everything, and they're wanting to see what will happen. Okay, so once we get confidence and we get our communication and language, we like to see how far that goes, or how far the other person responds to certain things. My advice to that is be consistent and be calm. So if they say, if they look thirsty or hungry and you offer them a banana and they just keep saying no, just pop it down and say, when you're ready, or if you change your mind, it'll be there. Or I've got something different. There's some crackers here as well. If they're not understanding and they're saying no and they generally want something different, like some chips or an apple, you can have a choice board with visuals. Here's just, like, this is not a choice board, obviously, but it's just got some photos, some visuals, doing an assessment. So that's something what it would look like. Okay, what would you like? All right, I'll put it here if you want it. And if they're saying no, respond to that like you understand that and respect that. Like, oh, that's okay. I'll put it here in case you change your mind. And that's respecting their boundary for no.
Yeah, she said yes. Yeah. I toddler is one of my nieces. I'm sure they don't mean to say no always, but I'm not sure how to deal with it. Oh, okay.
Okay. Again, yeah, it could be maybe she's trying to figure out between no and yes. So you could put the items down anyway, and then if she does want it, like if she does pick up the cheese that she just said no to, you could be like, oh, yes, you wanted the cheese. Yes, please. And just model that.
Yeah.
The other like catch is you could literally give her something you know she wants, like gummy bears, and then model, yes, please, yes. Using a hand gesture is great if a child's words get stuck or aren't there yet. So she might just nod or use her hand.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much, Jules.
No worries. You're so welcome.
I'm going to save it on my page. I'm going to send it to you on your email just so that you have a copy too. And then
lovely.
And there's a way that it can be saved on both my page and your page. If you want, you can do that. So I'll just make you a collaborator, and then it's going to show on your page too. That's
perfect. Yeah, I'm happy to do that. Thank you so much. It was lovely to meet you, and I hope you have a great day.
Yeah, you too. Bye. Good night.
Thanks. See you. Take care. Bye.
Thank you, everyone, for joining. Thank you so much. I hope you learned a thing or two. I'm going to save it now I know a lot of people are at work, so they couldn't keep up. But I'm going to save it and watch it later. Bye, guys.
Oh, did that all work? Oh, sorry. Just jumped back in again. Sorry. Obviously, don't know how this